Welcome back. Now it's time for Forum Daily's weekly market update with Catherine Murray, host of The Buck Stops Here. Take it away, Catherine. All yours.
Thanks, Nima. Hello, everyone, and welcome to your weekly market recap. I am Catherine Murray. Well, we are seeing North American equity markets continue to trade to the downside today following a number of weeks of weakness. But the big news, of course, is the jobs picture both in Canada as well as the United States. In the U.S., a huge jobs beat, 336,000 versus expectations of 163,000. And also importantly here, the past 2 months were revised higher. The unemployment rate in the United States stands at 3.8%. And importantly here as well, importantly as it relates to the inflation picture, they did see softer average hourly wages. And again, that's a bit of a positive for the inflation picture because we've seen an increase in upward pressure in wages over the past number of reports. And that has been leading to a weaker economy, thinking that the U.S. Federal Reserve will have to keep rates higher for longer. That is still potentially the case, and that's why we've seen weakness in the broader markets. This big backup in yields, the higher interest rates on the 2 and the 10-year. And the concern, of course, is that we've got higher for longer interest rates and the interest rate environment. And dovetail that with concerns that we haven't quite yet seen the effect of the monetary policy that's been put in place for the past year, where they've raised rates over 500 basis points. So that's why we're seeing weakness in the market, and that's the bearish call out there. Now, the bullish call, of course, is that we will see a soft landing and that the consumer will be able to handle the headwinds of a higher interest rate environment. But still, that remains to be seen. A lot to watch for as it relates to the next quarterly results coming up over the next couple of weeks. And also, of course, how the consumer faces these headwinds in the back half of the year, the fourth quarter in particular, and around the holiday season. So still more to be seen on that front. As it relates to the stocks to watch, PXD, Pioneer Natural Resources, there are reports that ExxonMobil is in talks to buy the company to the tune of valuing PXD at about $60 billion, sending that stock up by about 9%. Exxon, always acquire a company, tends to trade a little bit lower, so that's down by about 2% because they're going to be spending a lot of money. But of course, you would expect synergies to come as well. Away from that, we're also noting that Tesla has announced a price cut to the tune of about 2.7% on their Model 3. And then as it relates to the Canadian markets and Canadian corporate news, a lot to go through here. Canadian market has been weaker. We're also seeing the price of WTI lower. Once again, that is on back of concerns that we will see a slower growth outlook in Canada as well as, of course, globally, just given the headwinds of this higher inflation and higher rates that we've been seeing. In fact, we've got analysts out there saying that in Canada, the mortgage renewals could cause a severe downturn in the housing market. Away from that, we've got food inflation in focus with the federal government suggesting that the grocers need to stabilize the prices and or offer discounts, but not a lot of details been given on that. We're also hearing from Ottawa that they might want to, that they are looking to limit the amount of Airbnbs. So that's something to take note of for any of those out there who have been using that to supplement their rent and their mortgages. And also, of course, the Canadian-India crisis continues. Those tensions are continuing to rise, with apparently Trudeau given 5 days to decrease the staff in India. This, of course, follows the Sikh leader killing in Canada, which Prime Minister Trudeau said that India is familiar with and has knowledge about, which they have in turn said is absurd, and that has led to increased tensions and trade tensions, and of course the removal of diplomats out of India and travel visas being limited as well. So a lot to go through, certainly on the Canadian corporate front, Nima. I'll leave it there. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, and back to you.
That was Catherine Murray, host of The Buck Stops Here. Remember, for more coverage on the markets and the world of finance, you could always tune in to The Buck Stops Here every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern, only on the News Forum Network.